Today we're going to take a look at the murders of three women by two different men who were out on bond. One of them was actually out on bond for murder.
These photos are how friends and family of 18-year-old Jireh Portis will always remember her. Pictures and memories are now all they have left. The smiling teenager was killed overnight, police say, at the hands of her boyfriend. The person police arrested for the crime is 22-year-old Dayvon Bray, the same man who Pritchard police arrested back in August for murder.
What do you have to say?
At the time, he was silent as he walked by her camera on the way to Metro Jail. A month after being arrested in that case, he was able to post a $200,000 bond and was released with an ankle monitor.
A truly innocent victim that he murdered last night. She is the tragedy in all of this because her life could have been spared if he had been held in Metro Jail on the original charge.
And then this guy, Jireh Booker, he apparently killed himself after killing his girlfriend and her friend. He was out on bond for multiple charges as well. The suspect, who killed himself at a local hotel after fatally shooting two women Friday night on Hammond Avenue in Augusta, has been identified as 26-year-old Jireh Booker. He was a felon who was free on bond on pending charges for drug dealing and gang activity. Booker was reportedly a boyfriend of one of the victims. Booker, 26, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound at Gordon Inn and Suites. Coroner Mark Bowen said. He was pronounced dead at 5:03 a.m. Saturday, authorities said. The victims of the double murder on Hammond Avenue were identified as Raven Tolbert and Mercedes Gibson, both of Augusta. A third female was shot and transported to the hospital and is expected to survive, Sheriff Sergeant William McCarthy said. There were several children inside the residence when the incident occurred, but they were unharmed. Okay, why was he free? Booker spent a decade in prison for an armed robbery he committed as a 16-year-old. He was released last March and quickly found his way back into the criminal world. 3 months later, the felon was found dealing drugs, carrying a gun, driving recklessly, and being involved in gang activity. He reportedly was involved with the LOE gang, the same gang being linked to the Arbery Anthony murder. Yet despite being a felon with a gun, he was released from jail within weeks and was subsequently arrested in August on an order for arrest, yet he was later released in that case too. And here's a look at some of his charges: reckless driving, driving without a license, unlawful street gang activity, obstruction of law enforcement officer, firearm, marijuana with intent to distribute, firearm, knife. And so having these guys out on bond on the street when they're felons and people that should actually be in jail is actually dangerous to police officers as well. This next one, the police officers pulled this guy over and he had a gun and it turned into a shootout with the police.
Crime scene tape and evidence markers dotted this scene for close to 15 hours Saturday. It all began, officers say, with a car that ran a red light.
A traffic stop for any police officer is the danger of the unknown.
Inside, according to police, were 5 people. Officers say they smelled marijuana and saw a passenger wearing body armor.
You don't wear body armor and have a gun with drugs and money if you're just riding around.
News4Jax has learned that man was Tarani Wade. Police say they pulled him from the car after he refused to get out, and then they noticed a gun on him. Officers reported that as they tried to handcuff Wade, he swung at them and ran away, firing the gun at them as he left. According to JSO, officers fired back, hitting Wade and leaving him in serious condition. No officers were hurt. This wasn't Wade's first run-in with the law. Court records show he was sentenced to a year in jail in 2014 after pleading guilty to grand theft auto. In 2017, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to having a gun as a convicted felon.
This guy has proven that he's a dangerous person.
In 2020, Wade was arrested again after a high-speed chase on MLK Boulevard and I-95. According to police, he was a passenger and had a gun, cash, 22 small bags of cocaine, and several small bags of flakka, a street drug the DEA says is similar to bath salts. Wade originally received a bond of nearly $130,000 in 2020. That was later lowered to $50,000. When he failed to appear in court in October, a warrant was issued for his arrest.
And for him to have such a low bond stifles me because he's just going to go right back out and do the same thing.